Hey guys, it's your boy, Ballface8020, back again with another great commentary. First, I want to revise my timestamps. I think the 1980s should not begin with Ronald Reagan's election. It should begin with the introduction of MTV in 1981. The year before that, I can't remember when 1981 came out, but sometime in 1980, I guess this would have been before Reagan's election too, but still, the film Airplane came out. Great movie. And if you watch it, definitely much more of a 70s feel than an 80s feel. And MTV is like, a cultural milestone. The 90s, I don't think ended with the finale of Seinfeld, and I wasn't satisfied with that one even at the time. But I still don't like 9/11 for it. I'm going to say the end of the 90s, the biggest landmark at the end of the 90s is the premiere of The Sopranos, which was, again, it was just like Nirvana was revolutionary in terms of music. The Sopranos, when it came out, was revolutionary in terms of TV. It was a completely different type of TV experience. I know it wasn't as, everybody knew about Nirvana. Not everybody watched The Sopranos, but especially in hindsight, it's one of those things that kind of like the Moondog Coronation Ball, where its significance probably wasn't appreciated at the time. I think at the time, the people didn't realize. I mean, I remember people talking about it, about how great a show it was, and how it was something really new. But we didn't really appreciate, what a change it was at the time. I don't think. Anyway, that's what I think. But anyway, so we got that preliminary out of the way. If you've been following this, if you've been following me, you know that. I guess it was less than a week ago, although it feels like a long time ago, I quit my job. And, so here we are a week later, still no regrets per se. However, I really wish that I had been able to keep it until I found something else. I still think I made the right decision, that I could not held up, because like I said back then, it wasn't like I just did it without thinking about it. I wanted then, last week I wanted to keep it until I found something else, but I just felt like I couldn't. And I guess what I could have done is said ask my boss for a couple of weeks off or something, just an unpaid leave. But I'd be right back to, where I am now. The thing is, that would be even worse, right? If I asked him to 2 weeks off, and then, I find something else, and I'm like, oh no, I can't come back. But I'm thinking about it now. Let's say I was gonna go back. Could I do it? No, I wouldn't be able to do it. No, I wouldn't be able to go back. I can't do it anymore. But I mean, don't get me wrong, after a week off, now that I think about it, yes, I could, if I was going into this week coming up, I wouldn't, last week I felt like I couldn't do it anymore. And this week I feel like, yeah, I could hang in there. Now, the state I'm in now, I could hang in there. So, until I find something new. But, I don't know, and that could just be because I've been out for a week, I don't know. But I remember how I felt at the time. I couldn't go on, so what else? Again, I guess I should have probably just asked for a week or 2 weeks off. But, live and you learn. So, but anyway, so that means that's a lot of time. It may sound like a great thing. It's okay, well now you're not working, that's great, other than the no money thing. It's look, sitting around the house by yourself all day, I admit that that's a lot better than working a job. But it's got its own drawbacks. And, so for me, I spent a whole week just around by myself. The only thing I have to, keep me occupied during the day is my sports betting. And that's a lot of time to just be by yourself and think. And, there's only so much so many copes you can do. So, the thing is, look, I've been for a long time very interested in exploring altered states of consciousness. And I also interested in exploring other possible ways to help with my depression. Because if it wasn't for this depression and anxiety, I would never have had to quit my job. I'd still been looking for something new, but I'd at least have been able to stay in it until, I found something new. So, and like I said, with depression, I've tried everything. Fixing the diet, exercising, I've tons of different medications beyond the one that I'm currently on. I went through those very expensive ketamine infusions. I had this thing called TMS, transcranial magnetic stimulation, where they give you your head a jolt. It's not painful or anything. It's just, but it's a much less invasive version of electroconvulsive therapy. I've done it all, and like I said, it's not it's manageable, but it's not cured, and it's not even close to cured. And it's just, like I said, the fatigue is still there, the anxiety is still there. The anxiety already just cost me this one job, and so the only thing that's left is psychedelics, because those psychedelics are the final frontier when it comes to treating depression. I'm not saying that they're going to work. I know that they have had studies, and some people have used psychedelics and they're still depressed. I don't know if it would work or not, but it's whether if it doesn't work, okay, well then I guess I'm just fucked then, because there's nothing else. That's the last thing that could possibly, the last thing that could work. And so, it's just like that, I need to get this, this depression stuff worked on anyway. And I really do have an interest in altered states of consciousness, although maybe not in the way that most people who are into that do. So, there are drug-free ways of doing it. You can do meditation and breath work and stuff. Now, I've tried extensive breath work. I've even made a video about it. And it does, I've had it help me calm down, short-term types things. But I never reach anything close to any type of psychedelic state. Or it doesn't even have to be a psychedelic state. You can watch stuff on YouTube of people doing breath work, and within 10 minutes, they're laughing uncontrollably or crying or something like that. And I can't get anything like that either. To me, it's nothing. And I know I'm not alone, because there's been people who've done full 3-hour professional breathwork things, and they don't have a real reaction to it. Whereas some people have a dramatic reaction to it. I guess I'm just not built like that. I don't know. So yeah, I've tried the breath work. And as for meditation, I've made videos before talking about sense restraint, because meditation by itself, do the 45-minute John Kabat-Zinn body scan, great for stress relief, but that's about it. And, if you want to go any deeper in it, you need real sense restraint of if I'm not working and I'm not seeing anybody anyway, I'm part of the way there, but then you just have to just do nothing. It's okay, you're isolated, you're secluded, that's a start, but you can't be on the internet, you can't watch TV, you can't read, you can't do anything. You just need to be there and then just stare ahead. And it's not I absolutely can't just sit still and stare ahead and do nothing. I've done it there was a time recently, it was a few months ago, where I got stranded on the side of the road, and I was there for 4 or 5 hours. And there was nothing to do, so just my phone was dead because it had been so long. So you just sat there and waited. But it was unpleasant, but I could do it. But the thing is, that's when there's no alternative. There was nothing else for me to do. There was nowhere for me to go. There was nothing for me to distract myself. I can could survive it then, but I don't have the self-discipline to do it for even a quarter as long, when I'm just sitting around my house. I get too bored and I'm just like, fuck this. And, go. And so that's not going to work. There's no and fasting, I don't have the willpower. Another way to do it without drugs is to just sleep deprived, just stay awake. Can't do that either. So I'm all out of luck. Any drug-free way of achieving, treating depression or achieving altered states of consciousness, that's out. Can't do it. So so drugs are the only option. Psychedelics are the only option. And the thing is, I have no way of getting them. There's only one guy I know who might be able to get me something at the end of this month. Well, that's I have no job right now. The thing is I need to be able to work now. I mean, if it was just if I just had to yeah, I could wait a month if it was just that. But I need to I don't know, man. Yeah, I don't want to wait an extra month. I mean, it's not the end of the world if I have to wait a month, but I'd rather not. So, again, sitting around here, nothing to do, really wanting to, find some way to get these, to give this psychedelic stuff a try. Last night it occurred to me, why don't I look to see if there's a meetup around where I live? And sure enough, there was, and they were meeting today. They were meeting the next day, which was last night, the next day of last night, which was today. So I was like, wow, it's my lucky day. So I signed up for it. And then even once I signed up for it, I was like, yeah, I don't think I'm actually going to go. Because not because I wasn't interested, but the thing is, I'm thinking of a couple things. First of all, meetups are just are just awkward. Secondly, I'd have to go into the city, and I just really didn't want to do that. And it's nothing. I don't have anything against Detroit per se. I just don't like driving in it. So it was either going to be to drive or take public transit, but the public transit would have been too confusing. So I felt like driving would have been the least bad. But so yeah, but also the thing is you go to the meetup, and it's obviously nobody's going to give me psychedelics there. It could be a sting or something. So there wouldn't be anything. So I was like, yeah, we're pretty much right after I signed up for it. I was like, yeah, I don't think I'm just going to not go. And then I woke up this morning, and that was pretty much how I felt. I was like, yeah, no, not going to go. But then as the day went on, it was I got up, and if I was going to leave, it wasn't going to be for another couple of hours. And, I'm up, everything's already, and I just don't I've got nothing to do, just every other day. And, I'm you know what, whatever, I already signed up, why don't I do it? So I finally, showered, I shaved first, then I showered, and, it was a very unpleasant drive both ways, but I went down there. So I went to the meetup, and yeah, I wasn't really expecting much. I knew that I guess I didn't really know what to expect. Other than, I don't like meetups. I don't like being in downtown because I knew it was in some tea shop. So I knew everything was going to be super crowded, because that's just how everything is downtown. And, it ended up being okay. And I'm certainly happy that I went. It wasn't a groundbreaking experience or anything, but it got me thinking, because so I'm there, right? And, it wasn't like everybody else there was a hippie or anything who was oh man, that's far out, man. There was some of that with the guy who had created the meetup and was he was a little bit like that. The kind of guy who you could see using a hacky sack or something. And the way he talked sounded like the lead singer from Blink-182. Nice guy though. And he was a little bit like that. But the other people were more, I don't know. I wouldn't say that they really gave me a hippie vibe or anything, but they probably are like, they were all people who I think would seem pretty normal if you had if it was like, if you just met them like on hand, and then it's only like when they start talking that you see that they're into some kind of weird shit. And I mean, what do you expect? It's a psychedelic meetup. But the thing is, like, the psychedelic stuff really attracts a lot of very like odd ducks, and like people like, that's me saying that, but like, if you guys ever listen to like people talk about trips, like if you go onto YouTube and listen to people talk about their trips and stuff, and like, I don't know what it's like for you guys, but when I hear that, like, I go like, either, like, let's say it's Joe Rogan either talking about one of his trips or interviewing a guest about it, it's just like, dude, whatever, man. Like, I don't give a shit. Like, the stuff that they're saying, because it's always the same thing. Something about colors, and then just seeing that, like, we're all one and we're all connected, and like these really weird visuals, and it's like they think it's so profound. And look, if it's profound for them, great. But it's like, okay, like whether it's profound or not, whatever. But that's not interesting to me. That doesn't sound like something I would want to do. Like when I thought like I'm more interested in like the idea of seeing like other dimensions or other realms of existence, but like with the idea that those are just as like real and solid as this one here, and like everything else is the same except for maybe a couple of things that are different. And I'm not saying that there isn't a place for that, like, like mystical, like more mystical stuff. It's just, it's not really for me. And so like there was definitely like yeah, I mean that's all I got to say about that. They were however, the guys there were talking about something that was really that was kind of interesting. One was talking about a trip that he had, I think, on ayahuasca, where he saw this thing of like, and you've heard it all before. He's like 1,000 different eyes staring at me, and they're all connected, and we're all part of the eyes and stuff. And it's like, dude, man, I mean, I obviously I didn't say anything, and I didn't even roll my eyes at it, but inwardly I'm rolling my eyes because I've heard it so many times. like the thing is, it's like I don't need to trip to know that, because I've watched trip reports, and they're all saying like, oh yeah, we're all connected and we're all one. It's like, is that really that interesting to you? The like I don't know, man, I don't get it. And however, the fact that he was mentioned like so many different eyeballs looking at it, because then this other guy was there, was like, yeah, that just happened to me with a different thing of eyeballs. And I looked it up, and it's something from the Bible, some like type of like angel from the Bible, and I already forget what it was, like an aura something, aura road thing, I don't know. But whatever it is, it's supposed to be like the wheels of the chariot that were in the book of Ezekiel. I don't know. And he said, she showed me a picture of it. He's like, this is what I saw in like that trip that I had. And it's like, okay, I mean, that's cool. That is kind of interesting. That's more the stuff I'm talking about. One of the guys, the first guy who had mentioned like the 1,000 eye thing, he'd also mentioned it. I didn't get to hear the whole story of it, but he said like on one of them, he saw like communicated with aliens. Like, okay, that's cool. That's something that I would like to try. But yeah, so I don't know. I certainly haven't had anything like that, but we'll see. Like I think, I don't know if I mentioned this before, the one that I'm most interested in is this drug called DMT, but it's like I'll eventually find mushrooms, but like DMT is like, it needs to be synthesized in a lab. Like it's impossible to get. So yeah, I guess I don't really have anything else other than to say that, oh yeah, before I left, the guy who did the thing, I asked him because he had given out some samples for like microdosing mushrooms, which is something I've always been skeptical of. This idea that basically like you take a dose, but it's not enough to get you high, but you just like it still gives you like the antidepressant or whatever other benefits, like I guess a boost of creativity. I don't know what else you would use it for other than as an antidepressant, but supposedly as an antidepressant. That's at least one of the uses for it. And so he gave those out, so I asked him if I could have a pack, and he gave me one. And I took one tonight, and I feel exactly the same. Felt like a little bit woozy for a while, but that was about it. So yeah. Nope, don't have anything else to report. But hey, you know what? So maybe if maybe next time I'll be able to, because that was my thinking. Like, well, you might think like, well, why I even went to that. Like, if I don't really like meetups, I don't like hearing about other people's trips, and I knew I wasn't going to be able to get it there. Why even go? And I don't like going downtown, because even though I knew that I wasn't going to be able to get it there, I was thinking, well, maybe I can start building some connections so I can at least meet some people who can get it for me. Now, maybe not right there. I'm not there. I wasn't expecting it today, but maybe then I can find some way to get it. And I know somebody's going to recommend for me to grow it in my own house. It's not going to happen. Okay, I've already tried that. I can't do it. I just don't have the gift to do it. But if I ever do manage to trip, I'll be sure to tell you guys what happens. And hopefully I'll have something more interesting than, we're all connected. That's all for now. See you in the next.